that it's really important, whatever it is in your voting, to express that. And I think sometimes, especially on these issues which are incredibly complicated, there's a tendency to go, well, I'm not an expert on constitutional law, so I shouldn't go talk to my senator about it because I can't explain the Constitution to senators themselves. I care about it, but I can't go, chapter and verse through each thing. And I would say there's a balance between being informed, like you want to research the issue, but it's okay to say, I don't know the answer to that question. Let me talk to, someone at, I'm affiliated with the ACLU, let me ask them and see if I can get that information to you, or I'll follow up with you later on. Whatever, you need to say. But it's okay to go in there and just say, look, I care about this issue, and explain. And I would say that's the first tip if you're thinking about how to communicate. Is just explain why it's important to you. Like, you don't have to be a constitutional scholar. It's okay to say, I live in your district, this is an important issue.
I find also what works is to, when I don't, very often I don't understand all the ramifications of an issue. I say, I'm concerned about this issue, could you explain it to me? And they like to explain what their views are on things, and I learned that way too. And that's a good way to build a connection.
Right, and you get to build a dialogue where they're sharing their position, you're sharing yours. It's a little bit more.
And you see if they know the Constitution.
Always interesting to see, right? So there's a basic structure for communicating with legislators, whether it's a phone call or email, so I just want to walk you through that. The first thing is to just identify yourself and to give a little bit of context about who you are. So, my name is Elena Nunez, I live in Northwest Denver in your district, I'm a member of Common Cause, or whatever, your context of who you are. And then the second thing you want to do is just identify the bill, particularly with the bill number if it's been introduced. And that's sometimes tricky because sometimes when you're working on new legislation, you just know that there's something coming up, or you're not quite sure what it is, and then you just want to be as specific as you can without going into too much detail. I want to talk to you about the act to restore habeas corpus. And if you know the bill number, say, HR XYZ, whatever it is. Then you want to be pretty brief. I would say no more than 3 points about what your position is and what you'd like the decision maker to do. So, I'd like you to restore habeas corpus. I think it's important for due process, upholding our Constitution, or whatever your particular reason that you support it. And this is the place to be very personal about why it matters to you. And it doesn't have to be long. In fact, it's better if it's short. It's easier for them to read and really hone in on your message. But just give them that perspective. This is what I want you to do. Here's why I care about it. And again, I would say no more than 3 points. That way you can really be clear about it. You don't get into, well, I heard about this, there's this, there's that. Next thing you know, you got a 5-page letter, and it's not clear what you're talking about. And then just to wrap up the letter, or call or whatever it is, you just want to reiterate your position. So please support the, restore habeas corpus or whatever it is, and then, thank you. And
so what do you do with the draft form letter response? You put this together, you say, hey, I really feel strongly about this, I'm a constituent, I'm blah, 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 and I really disagree with the decision that you're going to make on X, and they write back and say, thank you for your support, I will be in, at the Hilton Hotel on the 19th.
I think there's 2 things. The first thing I would do would be make a phone call to the office and say, I wrote a letter and this is an issue I'm really concerned about. I'd be very polite. But say, I was really concerned about this issue and I got a response and didn't really address it, and I'd just like to talk with someone about where the congressman's at on this issue.